Good morning. I just wanted to share a little something with you guys this morning. It kind of when I heard about my uncle passing, it kind of brought up some feelings in me that I had been trying to suppress for a while. Because he is my dad's brother, my biological dad. He's his brother, and I was just recently in Indiana, and I passed his house, and I kept looking at his house like, I should go stop by and speak, but the family dynamics isn't the same. Or I should say, I don't have the same family dynamics on my biological father's side as I do with my mother's side. But at one point, me and my uncle was very close. Like, he took me in and, he showed me love because, I've always had a strained relationship with my father and his children, and it may just be because of the dynamics and why or how I got here, and they have probably their own set of problems and issues, which I understand, but at the end of the day, we're still all family. So it's like my uncle, he took me in and, we would hang out, he'll call me and say, come over. So I'll go over there and, we'll chill or we'll go for a ride somewhere. And, he would take me around other family members and introduce me to family members. And that's something that my biological father did not do. And it may be because my biological father may have a problem with communication, or had, I'm sorry. So it's like, I don't know, I don't want to make it, talk bad about anybody or portray an image that the person isn't, but my father, he wasn't one to reach out. He wasn't one to call me. Like, he may have his girlfriend call me if he hadn't heard from me a while or something, but he personally would never do that. And what actually popped up in my mind and I thought about was that I don't have anything from my biological father. Like, when he passed away, I didn't get anything, and not even monetary, because I'm not looking for that. I never have looked for that. I've never asked for any money or anything, but something as a picture. Like, I know the family may have gotten together and have went through his things or said, okay, well, I'll take this of dad's or I'll take that, and I never was included in that, or I never was called to say that this is going to happen. And maybe it's my fault. Maybe I should have contacted them and said, I want something from our dad. I would like to look through the items with you guys. Maybe I should have done that, but I just didn't feel like I'm part of the family, just because that's the way it's always been. So I never reached out, and no one's contacted me and said, well, here's some pictures of dad, or here's any kind of keepsake. I would have been glad with that, because that's something that I want, and I don't know if me as a person, as a sister, should reach out to them and ask them, or is that something that should have been done when all the family was doing these type of things? We have a younger sister that's younger than me, but other than that, I will be the youngest. My other sister, she's 12 years younger than me. It's like, I have to reach out and ask, and I have my sisters and brothers are several years older than me. I have a few that are only a few years younger than my mom, and one that may be the same age as my mother. And I feel like as a big sister or brother, they should have been more embracing to me and more caring. And and I may be expecting too much, because that's just the way I am with my sisters and brother on my mother's side of the family. But I can't expect everybody to be like me, or for both families to have that same dynamic. I would have liked for us to be close and everything, but it's never been there. I've always reached out, and I would go around and everything. And so many years, I got tired of being the only one reaching out. Like, it should be a two-way street. So I just stopped. I wish that we would be closer, but I just gave up, and I know that it's not gonna happen. Like, they, like I said, may have their own issues and problems that's preventing them from being close, or maybe they don't and just don't care. So that really, like I said, just kind of brought up a lot of feelings in me, just because that was his brother. And then it made me think about not having anything from my father at all. Like, I loved him. He may not have been around as much as I would have liked for him to as a child, but I did know him, and I was around him. So that's still my father, and I feel like it's unfair that other children may have gotten keepsakes or anything, and I didn't. I'm his child. It's just unfair, and we're not always dealt a fair hand in life. But I've been dealing with it, and I've healed a lot from it. But some things do still bother me, being even in my 40s. But like I said, I have to continue life and just keep going. I had even met one of my father's children at my father's funeral. Like, that was the first time I met him, or my brothers and sisters on my father's side met him. And we were really close for a while, me and his brother. And I was just amazed that there are other children out there that I did not know. And I don't know why I was shocked, because a lot of people in the family don't know about me still to this day. But when my uncle, the one who just passed away, introduced me to my brother at my dad's funeral, I immediately embraced him. And he had so many questions, things that I could answer. And he was a few years younger than my mother, but he had so many questions, and I was happy to be able to answer the questions the best way that I could, knowing that I wasn't all the way in the family either, but I was able to explain to him the family dynamics, and why my father may have treated him the way he did, because he's seen my father a few times throughout his life, and at this time he may have been like 50 something years old, and he just didn't understand why our dad would do him like that. But he was also glad to have a stepfather like I did, that took him in and loved him and treated him as his own. So he was able to still get that father figure in his life. But it's nothing like your real biological father. You're going to have empty voids if you don't know about that person. No matter how well somebody else treats you, you're still going to long to know. And I was just happy for the closeness that I had with that brother. Excuse me, and he passed away too, unexpectedly. Like, my brother his son said that he had came home and said he wasn't really feeling well, and he ate something and went in his room, and he said like an hour later he went in and he was dead. So he was taken from me unexpectedly, and that was finally a piece of the family that I could be close to, and involved with. And my uncle, the one that passed away, also embraced my brother that I found out about at my dad's funeral, and they became really close. So I was happy that, you know, that was able to happen before my brother passed away, and for him to know that I loved him and I cared about him. So like, death is just, it is something that brings about a lot of feelings in people. And sometimes you find out about feelings that you were hiding or, you know, trying to ignore, and it'll pop back up. So it's always good to, you know, address those and, you know, work on them. But my thing is, I don't know at this point, it's been so long, like they've been knowing about me since I was a little child. And it's like, where do you draw the line? You know, I have given up, but still in my heart, it's like, there's hope, you know, and I just don't really think that it's gonna happen. So I move on and I embrace and love those that want to be around me, that want love from me, and I do that. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, just how I was feeling when my uncle passed, and unresolved feelings that I had from my father, and not having anything from him, a keepsake, a picture, a locket, I don't know, anything, an old stale piece of gum. But it's just crazy because, like, with my father, you know, he drank a lot, and I remember, you know, pouring out his alcohol at a young age because I knew it wasn't good for him. I was like 8 years old, and we'll be at the liquor store, and then he'll be talking to somebody, and I would, while he was talking, he wasn't paying attention, I would pour his alcohol out and put the top back on and throw it in the back seat. So when we'll pull up to the house, he'll say, hand me that bottle, and I'll hand him the bottle, and he'll like, it'll be empty, and he like, not that bottle, hand me the other bottle. So I go get him another bottle, and that one be empty too. He'll turn around and start shuffling around looking, and then he'll be like, what happened to that one I put back there? And I'll be like, I poured it out. And he'd be like, when'd you do that? And the same way, like around the house, like I would find bottles of alcohol, and that's the first time I ever seen the little Crown Royal bags. So I would, or whatever it was back then, I'm believing it's a Crown Royal because it was in the same type of bag. But I would take the top, take it off, pour the alcohol out, fill it back up with water, and then just put it back around the house. So when he would get it, he would look and he'll like, this is clear. Like, well, I don't think he really would look at it first. He'll taste it, and then he'll like, this is clear. And then he'll look and he'll be like, he'll just start laughing. And then I'll laugh too, and then he'll be like, what happened? And I was like, I poured it out. But I always looked out for him, you know, and because I loved him, and I knew at a young age that, you know, he would be drinking too much. You know, he never was abusive or violent to me or anything, but I just knew, and I wanted him to be healthy, and he also was a diabetic, so I knew that wasn't good even as a young child. But that's just a memory I have, you know, of protecting him and trying to protect him. But he would just laugh and go right back out and go get another bottle. But I just wanted to share that with you guys, and I appreciate you guys for taking the time to listen to me. And you know, I know other people probably are going through the same thing, where they have this distance or the feeling of, you know, that you just don't understand why a connection is the way it is with a type of family, with your family, or, you know, you have a empty place in your heart because of lack of family. But, you know, you just have to keep pushing, and you have to embrace those who want to love you and want to be around you. Thank you guys so much, and you have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.